Hey, what's happening? This is Jerry here with Wealth Dynamics. Hope you're doing well tonight. Tonight, this morning, wherever you are in the world watching, I want to share with you why I believe you should never lower your ethics because somebody else did. Now, this is so super critical, so very important. I remember probably in 2015 is when I first realized this. This was probably 3 years ago. And I realized that when we're living life, whether it's with our spouse or whether it's with a business partner or whether it's with a friend, oftentimes we'll justify when somebody else does something that goes below their ethical or moral agreement. We'll go look at a time we're going to or did in the past and justify with, well, they did it. Who's ever done that? Yeah, see, I used to do that all the time. I would actually do that to my wife. Ironically, like we would have an agreement, right? I would break the agreement and then I would be like, well, you did this last time. And then she would be like, yeah, but you did it last time. And then we'd bicker back and forth, right? And so what I realized was your ethics are yours. It's your agreement. Ethics is not morals. Ethics is not like, hey, I agreed to what somebody else said. Ethics is my standard for myself. So my ethics, by existence, cannot be dependent on what somebody else did. Okay? A lot of times you'll have a moral agreement that's actually starting as an ethical agreement, meaning I set a standard for myself, then later on that standard becomes a good idea, and we as a group or a couple or a business agree to that moral principle, but really the underlying root is my ethics. And so that agreement might get violated. Let's say tardiness at work. Okay, I'm going to work and we agree not to be tardy. We agree to be on time no matter what. And so-and-so shows up late. And I let it slide. That's where it starts. I let it slide. I don't say, hey, you agreed to me and to yourself that you would be on time. You need to be more trustworthy than that. Instead, I let it slide. And what I do next is I justify next time that I'm late by saying, well, Billy did it. When I get called out on it, I protect myself by saying, well, so-and-so did it. So if so-and-so did it, I'm entitled to do it also. Now, that's a very slippery slope, guys. When you take your ethics away from being your own standard for yourself and you say instead, my ethics will waver based on what somebody else does, you are no longer an ethical individual. Like, you're not trustworthy. You've got no foundation anymore. And like, quite frankly, like, I won't do business with that person. I won't associate with that person. Why? Because everything they do is based on something that somebody else did first. It's a very low level of responsibility. Okay? So what I want to encourage you to do is the same thing I encourage myself to do. I am ethical. Okay, what that means is I come up with my own agreements and I stick to my agreements, regardless of what anyone else says or does. If somebody else wants to jack up and go do something different, they can do that. And if it's something they agreed to me on, I'm going to keep their ethics on point and be like, no, you told me this. So I'm going to be difficult and you're going to do this because that's what you told me you were going to do because I do that with myself first. Because I do that with myself, I can do that with somebody else. And the byproduct of that is I will never look at them and say, because you did this, it makes it okay for me to do it too. So if you keep things like tight, like a fortress like that, that's how you stay ethical and that's how you stay successful. But as soon as you start to compromise, that's all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. So I want to share that with you because, again, that's something that I have to constantly remind myself of, is to continue to increase the gradient of my ethics. And by doing that, the gradient of my success will increase with it. And I've seen that over and over and over. So I want to encourage you to do it too. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's not reciprocated. Sometimes it's not understood. Sometimes it's not appreciated. And that's why they're ethics, not morals. You're not doing them for somebody else. You're doing them for you. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Have a fantastic night. Talk to you guys next time.